You're ready.
Alright then. I don't remember what I'm supposed to be right now. Hi. I'll be talking about. There we go. Service dogs. Our American little hero here. So, excuse all the bad jokes I'm about to be doing in this class because that's how I get down to my nerves, guys. So, I want to talk about service dogs and their effects on mental illnesses, and I want to inform you and hopefully benefit you if it ever comes to this time. I want to talk about this especially to this kind of age group here because, especially in our age, about 18 to 23, we go through the anxiety disorders and they start to show up. Right now, around this time, schizophrenia is like one of your first symptoms. It comes around the age of 18. I want to tell you about like possibilities to try to overcome this because I will be telling you stories about schizophrenia and how service dogs will be helping you and hopefully how treatment. Alright. And how a service dog will be treating you if it ever does come to that time. Also, these service dogs have been around since approximately about World War II. That's around the era they became to be more pertinent. I'm talking about therapy dogs. I'm not talking about necessarily service dogs, which are for disabled individuals who have like blindness or deafness. These are more therapy dogs for like more mental health and like a positive outgrowth. The way they treat others is through compassion, etc., etc. So the first service dog ever noted in time, I'll go through the history real quick, will be approximately about our lovely Smokey, who came in World War II, through Colonel William Wine. He had this companion dog himself, but except when his soldiers were wounded, he saw the disparity in them, and he saw that they were losing hope in the war and that they couldn't sustain themselves in a good way. This dog, he allowed them to go down around the infirmary, he allowed him to go see them. These dogs helped these soldiers gain their confidence back, and they gave them the ability to keep fighting throughout the war. This dog alone was like the first service dog ever recorded, and obviously he had his own memorial because people saw how important this was and the impact he had on them. Continuing, I want to talk about how today and age we still continue using service dogs in military use. Service dogs help with PTSD, they even help with disabled individuals as well. When you have, I'm sorry to be crude, but if you do come across an IED when you're a soldier, there is a possibility you will lose limbs or such case. And these dogs help with phantom pains. The phantom pains are the things that, when you lose your limb, this is gone obviously now. But except these individuals still, feel the pain where their leg used to be due to stress and the fact that they can't cope with the fact that it's gone. It's a real issue for them, but except these service dogs offer companionship and they offer nudges. It's a simple thing, it's just a simple nudge that gives the companionship to them. And the key word here is companionship. I will be saying it a lot in this presentation because it's powerful. And it's almost like a placebo effect, but it doesn't matter at this point because it still gets results and the actions are still being taken place here. So these dogs obviously have to go to school. So there's obedience schools. Sadly, it's not like this, it's not as cute, but they're in like rooms with a group of other dogs here. And these dogs continuously try to find therapy methods to help them. And it's a way these dogs continue to enjoy and help these individuals that need it as well. So, I want to talk about the mental illness area now. So, schizophrenia, this is what it looks like. This is what a healthy brain should look like. This is a high risk, and this is schizophrenia. The symptoms of schizophrenia are things such as loss of distortion, you lose control of reality, you hear voices. There's a video I would very encourage you to watch. It's a video about how schizophrenia, just look it up, it's just called schizophrenia simulation. It's fantastic, it shows the symptoms. There's paranoia, they're fearful, they're even scared to take their medicine, they forget. There's an individual named Jess Peters. She's 28, went to college. She dropped out. She couldn't do it. She got her service dog, Paxil, which is the name of her medication for schizophrenia as well. And she wanted to continue going to school, so she tried this out at first. This dog continuously kept her in check, and it helped her continuously. When she lost distortion of reality, the dog guided her through it. If there was any time when the dog couldn't help her because it was too severe of an issue, this dog tried to bark for help until somebody came or called somebody, just kept calling, it didn't matter. She held on to her owner and chased her no matter where she went. The owner almost walked into traffic one time and the dog yanked her and pulled her out of the way. The dog is there for the safety and it's there for everyone's safety itself. And with this dog, it also helped her symptoms. She felt compassion, she felt like she had someone with her, she felt like someone understood her. Alright then. So in today's day and age, service dogs are still continuing. They can't just be like for a one-trick show. And hospitals are starting to see it as well. The American Academy of Pediatrics showed this out. They did a research study in 2011 about how service dogs continuously help children with cancer. They allowed dogs to come into the hospital And these children's blood pressure went stable, they lost anxiety level, they continuously kept helping each other. And nowadays, I believe in 2013 was the time they decided to start continuously putting them in hospitals. And most pediatric hospitals, they have once a week dog care now, where children are allowed to see the dog so they feel a boost of morale. So this is a way that they help each other. Other ways that these service dogs help, I'm going to go into more example details. They help you keep the schedule, especially with medications and such ailments like dementia or things like that. It helps with other anxiety disorders as well. It keeps you on schedule. It's really hard to remember to take your pills when you can't remember that you have to take pills. So these dogs guide them to that. It helps with the scheduling. There's other ways these dogs can help. It keeps the companionship, again, like I said. But the companionship is what gives the placebo effect to them, that they have someone there to help them. It's something that beds down with them really well, and they continuously just keep trying. And these dogs have shown improvement, and there is no actual reason for why it should work, but honestly, it's mostly just a placebo effect, and it's something that should continuously be done. To my opinion, this is something that should be informed to all general age groups, to the 18-year-olds, because again, like I said in the beginning, it's important that you remember that this is a dangerous time for us, because I see it in my family as well, how out of nowhere someone could be normal for 18 years, and then one day they just lose it and they have a breakdown. There is a case back in the day where they lost an individual when she went to college. She just left her dorm room and just never came back. They lost her for years, and about like 5 years later she came back and they found out it was schizophrenia. So she just disappeared and went to the wilderness and became homeless. Her family was looking here for her the entire time. She got a service dog, and this is Jen again. She got a service dog and she came back to school, and it helped her continuously throughout her life. And she hasn't had a major breakdown since, mostly due to the medication, and also she says she thanks her dog Paxil to this day. She says that's her savior, her Paxil, and her medication and her dog. That's the end of my presentation.
Alvaro, what did you think?
I thought it was very good, actually. He was good at engaging with the audience. He didn't really stutter. He provided a lot of abstract and concrete material. The only thing I have to complain about is when he showed that image of the brain schizophrenia comparison to the regular one, he didn't really explain what the red meant versus the green. Also, I didn't hear. I might have missed them while writing down, but I didn't hear too many choices. But then again, I probably missed them while I was writing on the paper. The visual aids, each image served a purpose. He did a very good job incorporating each image. Overall, I thought this was an A presentation. It was really good.
Oh man, he's passing out the grades. I wasn't expecting people to do that. That's okay. For social comparison purposes, I guess it's all right, but you'll probably be, very enthusiastic about his evaluation and less enthusiastic about mine. I'm not passing out any letter grades. I never give letter grades until the end of the term. You guys just get numbers. All right, so you'll get your numbers when it's your turn on that. Let me add a few comments here. I'd agree with a couple of the things he said. I like the images that you showed. They were good and large. There's a little bit of humor built into them. They help us remember some subjects. A couple of times I think there are things that don't get very well explained. The brain image that he talked about I think is one of those things. I'm still trying to figure out how the dogs get people to take their pills on time. I'm sure that there's something that they go through, some process that happens. I was interested in the way the dogs are trained and how does a dog get selected to be a service dog? How do they get trained? Or do people just randomly decide, well, my dog's a service dog now because he helps reduce my anxiety? Because if that's the case, I'd take my dog with me everywhere. I could justify having him in here with me in class and say, oh no, he's providing a service for me. He's keeping me from being afraid of all of you. I know that these dogs are being used. And like I said, I think there might be a difference between service dogs and therapy dogs, and maybe some of them are service dogs. I know I have a colleague who has a service dog who helps her with her diabetes and keeps, it can detect her blood sugar levels. How it does that, I don't know, but it does. And that's one of those things. I'd want to know how those kinds of things work. So I feel like I got part of a story here. I need a little bit more of the story. I do like the story that you tell about the one woman and her dog Paxil, who's named after the medication that she takes as well, and how that's helped her. I think that's the kind of thing that makes your speech interesting, is when you add some anecdotes and some interesting illustrations to it, and it's not just a set of information that you got out of some document that you cut and pasted into a presentation, but you're giving us a way to relate to that subject, and I thought you did that pretty well in a couple of spots. It sounded like it's basically two parts. Here's the history of it, and then here are service dogs. And I'm going, well, the service dog section needs to be better organized so I can tell what it is that I'm getting here. The history stuff, that was fine. I like the images that you had, that you told us about. I do think that we could get maybe a little bit of timeline about how the dogs became service dogs. The idea that we're jumping from somebody who is shell-shocked in combat to people who are schizophrenic being able to function more effectively because they have a service dog, that's kind of a big jump, and I'm wondering how we got to that particular spot. It feels, I will have to agree with Alvaro, I didn't hear a lot of source citations in the presentation. I think you're not as consistent about citing that information as you need to be, and that's probably a little bit of a drawback. When you watch the video back, I think you're going to be able to pick out a few things about your presentation that are problematic. You rush a couple of things. You step on your own conclusion. You've got the Porky Pig exit that we told you to refrain from. That's it. That's it. And that's my speech, folks. You want to avoid that kind of thing. I think you've got a funny picture at the beginning to get our attention. I think you can come back to the same sort of thing at the end. It would have been interesting. I don't know if it would have been possible. It would have been interesting, for instance, at one point to see a picture of her. Was it Barbara and her dog?
It was
What was the woman's name?
Jess Peters.
Jess and her dog Paxil. I can remember the dog's name. I can't remember her name. Sorry about that. That's probably not very supportive. But that might have helped us maybe connect a little bit more with the story as well. I just felt like there wasn't much of a structure in the body of the speech once you started talking about what after the historical information, the service stuff just came up and it just sort of ran together. The images are good, but I think there could be more. You need to explain a little bit more on them. I think you've got a great topic here, and it just needs a lot more development to get some extra material in it and to make it a little more organized. All right, thank you.